Hi Libra, welcome to your Astro Reels. As you guys know, these readings are timeless and signless, so you need not have any actual Libra placements or any significant Libra placements in your chart, or to be watching this video at the time that it's published for it to be for you. It's kind of a collective reading, so always think of all of these readings that I put out as, for example, Libra / everyone. And if you'd like to work more personally with me, you know exactly where to find me. I'm on that card, ding! But also you can find my business page for Etsy anywhere on the platform that you're watching. All right, so let's go through. So guys, I don't know how you guys are feeling, but I'm kind of crawling to this video right now. A little bit low energy these last few weeks. It's been really tough energetically, and I'm just so curious to know how some of you are feeling as well. So one of the things that I'd like us to do at this point is to disconnect from any fear-based thinking that we may be having in our minds, any interference, any interruptions or disruptions in your sense of safety and self, however it refers to you. 1 minute 11 seconds, because you know it's just a tough time right now energetically. So let's jump in and see what the cards, oh look at that already, cards are speaking, what the cards are saying. Speaking of the cards are speaking, Spirit is saying that, okay, if these messages are for you, again, it is if you're watching it, Spirit is saying that right now it's almost like this large drawing back of the bow, you know, as in a bow and arrow. So this is the card that usually signifies to me divine communion, you know, connecting with your spirit guides and receiving higher level information. And it's tilted, and instead we're like, it's almost like we're going backward here. And we have this force card. So it's like a pulling back, a drawing back of the bow. And so in a sense, if you're going through some tough times right now, whether whatever it is in your physical, because remember, as above, so below, 2 minutes and 2 seconds, 0202, just to remind you, it's already happening in the non-physical in some energetic dynamic way. So regardless of what the energetic dynamics are in the energy field, you may be experiencing that upheaval in an area of your life that may differ from someone else. 2 minutes 22 seconds, but please know that we're collectively, as a collective, going through a drawing back of the bow as the energy dynamic. And why I feel a little bit of comfort in hearing that is because I know, hey, at least we're all on track with what is happening. Notice I said it, with what is happening. It's like we are moving as a group. And so yeah, the more that we really connect and really talk to each other about what's happening, the better the experience can become, because there is some type of strength and endurance and stamina that comes from being able to co-regulate. It's not a misery loves company, by the way, situation. That's not what you want to do. It's about, you know, collecting information. Hey, I've been feeling this way. What's going on with you? And hey, and being able to draw strength and understanding, oh, okay, I'm not alone in this, and this is how it's happening for me. But the question is, yeah, look at that, 2 worlds. Yeah, I was gonna say, but the question is, what's the point of having that drawing back? Usually when we draw back a bow and when there's a lot of tension, when we let it go, it's able to fly further than if there weren't. I'm feeling into the energy here. For some of you, this is a matter of cold feet. And obviously in your physical 3D life, you may know what that refers to, or you may not. For example, for some of you, maybe, and let's just use the example, common example, getting married or engaged to marry, or the wedding date's approaching and you're starting to get cold feet. For some of you, you may have really wanted a job, and then like you're going through the application process, and now it's wow, you're making headway and it's getting really real, and you're like, oh my gosh, is this really what I want to do? Do I want to take this pay cut, or do I want to change cities, right? So there's a little bit of an apprehension for some of you coming up with something that is related to some area in your life. Now, just because you can't pinpoint a specific thing in your physical 3D existence doesn't mean that this doesn't apply to you as well. Because remember, the physical world is just a carbon copy of something that's already going on any one of the levels. We don't know, because we have so many different levels in the non-physical. And so you may be feeling the fallout or the tension or the stress from these non-physical dimensional movements before you register it in your physical. So I just want to let you know, you know, stuff's happening. It's happening. So again, for some of you, it's a cold feet kind of situation. Let me see what else I'm feeling in the field. For some of you, I literally heard from somebody, I'm giving up my daughter, or I gave up my daughter, 5 minutes and 5 seconds, 0505. That's never an easy thing. So for some of you, you're playing out a dynamic, or you're experiencing an energetic, or you're experiencing waves or frequencies from an energetic dynamic that is happening in your field where there is a separation of some sort. Now, it's very specific when we hear things like, oh, my daughter, right? That's a specific thing. And then the question that bears answering is that, or question that bears asking is that something from this lifetime or another lifetime having a harmonic resonance or morphic resonance here for you? Now, just to show you, it's like, it's all, we all think it's open and shut, but at any given moment when you're feeling a certain type of way, 5 minutes, 55 seconds, it's because it could be one of many things. And that's why it's really, really dependent upon you, your individual energy reading, to know what the whys and the wherefores are. So, but that's just something else I'm hearing. For somebody here, I'm getting that your wings are being clipped. And that's, I do not mean that in an angel way, like, oh my God, you were an angel and now you're falling to the earth and blah, blah, blah. And not like this. It's being used in the energetic, I'm sorry, they're saying something. They're saying frequency update. They're saying these are frequency updates. but you may feel like your wings are being clipped in the figurative sense. Like maybe you're having to like do less spending, you have less freedom, you have less time, whatever this is. But as the guides are saying, long story short, you're going through a frequency update. Look at the two worlds and look at these two here, right? And then we've got two here. This is kind of giving me vibes like the Gemini reading that, I think it was the Gemini reading, yeah, that we did a few days ago, where it's like 2 and 2 and 2. So yeah, transition. There's a transition going on, and it's not the easiest, but I love this. Look at this. It gives me this energy, this feeling that it's going to be over soon. Now, some of you might be like, teeth gritting, but I kind of get the vibe that by 4 weeks, or by 4 weeks from now, it feels like in 4 weeks, like by 4 weeks from now, as opposed to like you're already in the 4 weeks, but who knows, depending on who you are, it may be more or less, right? But it actually doesn't feel like more. It could be less, I don't know. But by 4 weeks, you'll be like, what was going on at that point? Oh, that was so last month, is kind of the energy that I'm getting. Some of you, now let's bring in the other reason they're saying, some of you are being tested. And I know that there's a little bit of a lack of consensus in the field about, or in this field, not the energy field, but the field, this discourse, whatever, about whether people get tested or not, and this and that. Remember, things are always going to be made right or wrong depending on the perspective that you're taking, the level of the field that you're taking, and the perspective that you are viewing it from. So from where I am, I have noticed that yes, the energy is yes. The answer is yes. You do get tested. Don't think of it like the Lord is testing me. It's nothing like that, right? Or I failed and I should kill myself. Or it's nothing like that, okay? It's more like assessment, the soul, and also for you and your spirit team who, our teachers are helping us through all of this. The idea is, well, how well have you grasped this lesson or that lesson? And that's what an assessment is. It's just an opportunity for growth. And so a lot of us are going through this right now. And in fact, just yesterday, I was just minding my own business. You guys know me, totes uninvolved. And I just had to take a double take on the page because I literally saw test passed, and I was like, what? And I know that in that moment, because that's how one of the ways the guides connect with me, I knew that in that moment they were saying, hey, you passed a test. And I was like, yeah. And this time they wouldn't tell me what it was, because usually I'm like, okay, well, what was it? And then they'll be like, oh, it was this. But this time they were kind of silent. I do also want to point out that earlier that yesterday they also gave me decaf. I was like, no, like I saw the word decaf written on my coffee cup, and of course it did not say decaf, so now I know I have to go caffeine free for a little bit. And aren't we all just a little sad? Okay, but anyway, Spirit is saying here, see how it's like a roller coaster? They're saying that you're going to be up and running. Oh my God, you're going to be up and running eventually you're going to be back up and running. You know, they gave us a 4-week situation, but it's almost like you're going to be probably feeling like you're no good for yourself or no good for anything up until that time as we go through this period. And again, I do want to stress that part of it for some of us is testing. So when just 10 minutes, 10 seconds, just to quickly say, when I say testing, it means it's hard for a reason. You're backed into a corner for a reason. The ladder has been cut for a reason. That's what it is. And I know some people also think that, oh, there's no such thing as things happen for a reason. And then there are others who think everything happens for a reason. And then there's some of us who are like, let me just feel into this one moment in time and see what I can glean and what feels right. And maybe that's the best approach. But just to remind you, it may be hard for a reason. Now, listen, I'm out here just trying to let you know, if I can give you a cheat sheet, giving myself a cheat sheet also, it's this. If we know that it's assessment time and things are happening that, you know, for a reason, maybe you could just kind of have to go with the flow and try to be less in resistance and try to comporting yourself, meaning like, don't just fly off the handle with people. Don't just spiral into fear thinking. Don't just, you know, you see this bank account statement, don't just fall apart and then go to a check cashing place and then go and borrow money and go. Like, don't do all of that. Instead, you know that we're going through this. There are steps and there are stages. Part of doing well in the moment is being a master of the moment. And sometimes being a master of the moment is allowing yourself to just step back and surrender, 11 minutes, 44 seconds, and just saying, I don't know what to do, and it's okay. Or saying, I made a mistake. Maybe if your assessment includes you making a mistake and getting caught for it and then being pulled up for it or whatever, maybe it's just learning how to give yourself the self-regulation and the permission and the compassion that you need in that moment. And maybe that was what the test was all about. It was never about whether you could have executed a job properly, but rather about how you treated yourself when you found yourself in a position where you did not execute the job properly. Oh, tell me about it. Oh, guys, you guys, perfection is a real problem I have. So the guides are talking to me about that too. It's just so hard. Maybe it's the Capricorn South Node. It's killing me. I'm just like, I should be putting out this content every day and I should be. They're like, relax. And other stuff too. But, you know, they're like, come on. Speaking of, look at them. Come on, get yourself together. Contract, right? So a lot of us, oopsies, a card just fell. We'll go pick it up in a second. We meaning me, because you guys are just watching. Thanks, guys. But anyway, I love this because what I want to point out here is the guides are saying that they're giving you, you know, tests and assessments and such. And some of you may be like, oh, this sucks and this is hard. But I see this person coming up here behind you, because here you are super cutely receiving assistance and guidance as you make your way through these contracted assessments. And here's somebody coming up behind you. This person is almost like a guide to you. But I do, for a minute there, so you might meet people who along the way help you and give you more information to get through this. So remain open, no isolation, right? I'm also talking to me, my bad. But at the same time, I kind of got a little bit of a vibe, not gonna lie, where it's like, oh, are some of you gonna meet somebody? Is there gonna be somebody that you're meeting? Now, a card that fell off the table, for some of you, it could be romantic. It's just kind of what I got very quickly. But this is the card that fell off the table. And so it's just the way they're saying it. They're like, now look at it. One hand is on the hip, you know, and then they're like, look at it. What did you do wrong here? What could you have done better here? So if you're having issues in stability, you know, root chakra kind of stuff with your household finances, organization, whatever it is that you're doing, Spirit is asking you to pay attention to how you are maneuvering in the 3D physical world, right? So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that because I do want to make sure this gets to fit on Instagram. But please do check out the other signs, because I'm just putting a sign on here, and this one's Libra. But let's be honest, these are collective readings. And if you're part of this collective, there's something for you. All right? God bless you. Stay strong.